Good morning to all. I am R. Velanganni, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Faculty of Arts and Science, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Now I am going to taking the subject of Business Organization and Management. Course code U20 BCP 302. Covering the topics of introduction and basic concepts of business and trade. Now we discuss one by one. First, what do you mean by the business? The term business means to be busy or occupied. In practice, business includes certain economic activities in which people are busy or engaged. Such activity related to production, distribution, trading, or exchange of goods and services to satisfy the needs of people so as to earn income or profit. Here, here business means busy or occupied. In business, the public are going to very busy for purchasing the products. The economic activities including buying and selling. Here, the activities include production, distribution, or trading or exchange of goods and services. Why we need business here? To satisfy the needs of the people and to earn the profit. This is the meaning of business. Second one is the definition of business. According to B.O. Wheeler, this is the author name. Business is an institution organized and operated to provide goods and services to society under the incentive of private gain. Here, the author B.O. Wheeler described business is an institution or organized here to operate the provide the goods and services to the society of the people. Next, nature and scope of business. The nature and scope of business classified 8 types. Number 1, business is an economic activity. Here, the business is an buying and selling process is going on. Second one is that it includes the activities of production or purchase and distribution. Here, the activities include production, that means preparation of goods, or purchasing the goods or distribution of goods. Here the economic activities are going on. Next is that it deals in goods and services. Here that means services, goods and services means offered the one person to another person. Next is that it implies regularity of transaction. It gives that the business gives the regularity of the transaction. The business distributes the goods in regular basis. Next is that it aims at earning profits through the satisfaction of wants. How did they earn the profit here? The business satisfied the people to satisfy the society. Next is that it involves risk. It is not certain that adequate profit will be earned. Here, sometimes the business facing the risk. The risk is the uncertain. Sometimes the business earning good profit. Sometimes the business not earn the good profit. So the business facing some risk. Seventh one is that it creates utilities, the uses of the customers. Next is that it serves a social purpose by improving people's standard of living. Here the business improving the standard of living of the people. These are the points comes under nature and scope of business. Next is the objectives of business. The objectives of business classified 5 types. Number 1, economic activities. Number 2, social activities. Number 3, human objectives. Number 4, national objectives. Number 5, global objectives. First one is the economic objectives. Here, objectives means aim or goal of the business. Here, economic objectives means the aim of the economic condition. Here, economic objectives of business refer to the objective of earning profit and those which have direct impact on the profit earning objective of business. Here, the economic objective's main point is earning the profit. Second, the sum of the main economic objectives are earning of adequate profits. Number two, exploring new markets and creation of more customers. Here, earning of adequate profit means the business always aim at earning the profit and then exploring the new markets and then creation of more customers. Next is the growth and expansion of business operations. Here, the business is always growth or expand the business in all over the country. Next, making innovations and improvements in goods and services. Here, they develop the innovations, new techniques, new methods, and improvement the business. Next is the making use of available resources in the best possible manner. Here, the business object is they making use of available resources in the best manner. They avoid the wastages. So they use the best way in possible manner. These are the points comes under economic objectives. Next is the social objectives. Here, what do you mean by social objectives? Social objectives of business are those which are desired to be achieved for the benefit of the society. Here, the social objectives main aim is to achieve the benefit of the society or public. Here, the sum of the major social objectives are number one, production and supply of goods, quality of goods and services to the society. Here, first the social objectives produce the goods and supply the goods to the services to the society. Next is the making goods available at reasonable prices. Here, the maintaining the goods in the reasonable prices. Next is the avoiding of unfair practices like hoarding, black marketing, overcharging, etc. In these points, the social objectives avoid the hoarding and black marketing and overcharging of the prices. Next, fourth one, contributing towards the general welfare and upliftment of the society. Here, the general welfare and upliftment of the society means the social objectives raise the welfare facilities of the society. Next is the ensuring fair return to the investors. Here they provide the good return, investors. Next is the taking steps in the direction of consumer education. Here they are providing the good education to the society. Next, conserving natural resources and wildlife and protecting the environment. Here, the seventh point is comes under conserve or protect the environment. These are the points comes under social objectives. Next is the human objectives. What do you mean by human objectives? These objectives are mainly concerned in the welfare facilities of the public. Human objectives of business primarily refer to the objectives aimed at safeguarding the interest of its employees and their welfare. Here the human objectives mainly concerned in the safeguarding of the people and uplift of the welfare of the people. The sum of the major human objectives are number one, providing fair remuneration and incentives to the employees. Here, the human object is providing good remuneration to the employees or giving some of the benefits to the employees. Next is the arrangement of better working conditions and proper work environment for the employees. Here, the arrangement of better working condition. The employees are working in the organization. On that time, the management providing good working conditions to the public or employees. And then proper, they have to maintain the proper environment of the employees. Next is the providing job satisfaction by making the jobs interesting and challenging, putting the right persons in right job. Here, the management providing good satisfaction to the employees. Otherwise, they will not have any good attitude of the employees. So they have to maintain the satisfaction of the employees. Next is the providing employees with more and more promotional objectives. Here, providing the employees more and more good promotional opportunities. Next is the organizing training and development programs for the growth of the employees. The management arranging the training programs for the employment training programs. Next is the providing employment to the backward classes of the society and the people who are physically and mentally challenged. Here, the management concentrate in the backward classes employees and also concentrate in physically handicapped and mentally challenged persons. These are the points comes under human objectives. Next is the national objectives. Here, the national objectives, the aim is only concentrate in the goals and aspirations of the nation. Here, national objectives of business are the objectives of fulfilling the national goals and aspirations. Some of the national objectives are creation of employment opportunities. Here, they develop the new employment opportunities. Second one, promotion of social justice. Third one, produce and supply goods in accordance with the national interest and priorities. Next is the payment of taxes and other dues honestly and regularly. Here, we have to pay the taxes and dues very honest and regular basis. Next is the helping the state in maintaining law and order by promoting good industrial relations. Here, we have to help the and maintaining the law and promoting good industrial relations. Next, implementing government's economic and financial policies framed time to time. Here, we have to maintain the good policies and maintain and provide the time to time. These are the points comes under national objectives. Next is the global. Global means world, geo. Global objectives of business are the objectives of facing the challenges of global market in the world market, facing the challenges of in the global market. The sum of the global objectives are number one, making available globally competitive goods and services. Next, reducing disparities among rich and poor nations by expanding its operations. Here, they have to reduce the disparities. Disparities means different among the rich and poor nations by expanding its operations. Next, the characteristics of business. The important characteristics are economic activity. Number two, buying and selling. Number three, continuous process. Number four, profit motive, risk and uncertainties, creative and dynamic. Next, customer satisfaction. Next, social activities. These are the points. Points comes under characteristics of business. Next is the base difference between business and proportion. What are the difference comes under the business and the proportion? Here they differ the basis for comparison, meaning, basic objectives, establishment, qualification, capital, reward, code of conduct, advertisement, transfer of interest, risk factor. Now we discuss one by one. First, business is the meaning of business is an economic activity concerned with the production or purchase and the sale of merchandise and rendering of services with the purpose of earning profit. Here, the meaning of business is an economic activity. That means buying and selling. Here, proportion side, proportion is a form of economic activities wherein special skills, knowledge, and expertise is required to be applied by the person in his occupation. Next is the basic objective is earning profit. In business side, earning profit is the main objective. In profession side, rendering services is the main object. There's the service to the public. Third one is the establishment on the decision of entrepreneur and fulfillment of legal formalities. Here, they decide the entrepreneur legal formalities. And profession side, membership of the respective professional body and certificate practice. Here, only the professional body is the concentrate our work. Next is the qualification, based on qualification. In business side, no minimum qualification. Business side, they no need to qualification. But the profession side, we have to maintain special knowledge of study is required. Next is the based on capital. Required as per the size and nature of business. Here in business side, we have to maintain the capital. We have like that capital. In profession side, limited capital is required. Next is the reward. In business side, we have to got only profit of our reward. But the commerce side, only professional fees is the our reward. Next is the code of conduct. Here, no prescribed code of conduct. But the commerce side, code of conduct prescribed by the professional and professional bodies needs to be followed. Next is the advertisement. Products and services are advertised to increase sales. But here, profession side, advertisement is prohibited as per professional code of conduct. Next is the transfer of interest. Transfer of interest in business side, transfer of interest is possible, but the profession side, transfer of interest is not possible. Next is the risk factor. In business side, the risk is always present, but profession side, the risk is not always present. These are the points comes under difference between business and profession. Next, we discuss trade. What do you mean by trade? Trade refers to buying and selling of goods and services for money or money's worth. It involves transfer or exchange of goods and services for money or money's worth. The manufacturers or producer produces the goods, then moves on to the wholesaler, then to retailer, and finally to the ultimate consumer. Here, the meaning of trade is the selling of goods and services. Why we are selling of goods and services? We earn some of the profit. Next, the manufacturers preparing the goods or the producers preparing the goods and then sell the wholesalers. The wholesalers sell to the retailers sell to the consumer. The consumer is the last ultimate person. Next is the importance of trade. Here, number one, optimum utilization of resources. Number two, employment. Number three, expands aids to trade. Number four, standard of living. Number five, spread effects. Number seven, revenue to the government. Number eight, economic development. Now we discuss one by one. First one is the optimum utilization of resources. Optimum means minimum utilization of resources. Utilization means uses of resources. Resources means we have to maintain man, material, mission, methods, and etc. Here, optimum utilization of resources. Internal trade involves buying and selling of goods within the domestic market. Within the domestic market means within the country or within the market, within the organization. The goods are produced by manufacturers. The producers require resources such as materials, manpower, mission, etc. to produce goods. Therefore, there are proper utilization of resources. Here, the optimum utilization of resources means the organization maintaining the materials, manpower, machineries, and methods, etc. The organization maintain and utilization of resources is very good manner. Don't avoid or reduces the reduces the resources. Next is the employment. Internal trade facilities protection. So it provides considerable employment to skilled and unskilled workforce in the industry. It is also require a number of middlemen like wholesalers and retailers. Here, the organization improve the employment facilities to the society. Next is the expands aids to trade. Here, expands means diversification or expand or growth of the business. There are a number of aids to trade such as banking, insurance, advertising, etc. The growth of internal trade helps to expand the aids to trade. The expansion in aids to trade not only generates employment but also facilitates more business. Next is the standard of living. Here, the standard of living means the living condition of the people or society. In internal trade provides employment to millions of people. This results in increase in the income of the society. The increase in income generates more purchasing power. Here, the standard of living conditions means welfare living of the people. Here, the management provides or increase the employment facilities to the society. The increasing level of employment facilities increase income generates income increase and then purchasing powering also increase. Next is the spread effects. Because of internal trade, a number of supporting industries comes into existence. For instance, because of the trade in textile industry, a number of other related industries come into existence, such as textile machinery industry, dulls and industry, etc. Next is the developing of backward areas. Here, the businesses concentrate in the backward class areas. Internal trade facilities, production in backward areas, maybe because of government incentives or because of the availability of cheap labor or raw materials. Next is the revenue to the government. Internal trade begins tax revenue to the government in form of excise duty charged on production, corporate tax charge on profits, custom duty on imports. Next is the economic development. All the above factors, that is higher employment, higher production, expansion of aids to trade, development of backward areas, etc., results in increase in national income. Therefore, there is economic growth and development of the nation. Here, these are the points comes under the importance of internal trade. Next is the types of trade. Here, we discuss different types of trade. The trade is classified into two types. Number one, home trade. Number two, foreign trade. Here, the home trade is further subdivided into two types. Number one, wholesale trade. Number two, retail trade. Here, the foreign trade is further subdivided into three types: import trade, export trade, and entry port trade. Now we discuss one by one. Here, the trade can be divided into two types: internal or home trade or domestic trade. The second one, external or foreign or international trade. First, we discuss internal trade. What do you mean by internal trade? Internal means within the organization, within the country. Here, internal trade is also known as home trade. It is conducted within the political and geographical boundaries of a country. It can be at local level, regional level, or national level. Hence, trade carried on among traders of Delhi, Mumbai, etc. is called home trade. We are doing our trade in the within the country, within the state, or within the organization. These are the points comes under internal trade. The internal trade can be further subdivided into two types. Number one, wholesale trade and retail trade. Wholesale means full. It involves buying in large quantities from producers or manufacturers and selling into lots to retailers for resale to consumers. The wholesaler is a link between manufacturer and retailer. A wholesaler occupies prominent position since manufacturer as well as retailers. Both are dependent upon him. Wholesaler acts as a intermediary between producers and retailers. Here, the wholesaler is the intermediate person between the producers or manufacturers and retailers. Here, the wholesalers buying the goods from manufacturers or producers and then sell the goods to consumers. So, the wholesaler is the intermediate person between manufacturers and consumer. Second one is the retail trade. Retail trade means resell. The retailer, it involves buying in a smaller lots from the wholesalers and selling in very small quantities to the consumers for the personal use. The retailer is the last link in the chain of distribution. He establishes a link between wholesalers and consumers. There are different types of retailers, small as well as large. Small scale retailers include hawkers, peddlers, general shops, etc. Here, the retailer is the intermediate person of wholesaler and consumers. Here, the retailer is the resell. The retailer purchases the goods from wholesaler and sell the goods to consumer. So, here, resale. Here, resale is going on. This is the retail trade. Next is the external trade. External means outside the country, outside the state. Here, external trade also called as foreign trade. It refers to buying and selling between two or more countries. That means, for example, if Mr. X, who is a trader from Mumbai, sells his goods to Mr. Y, another trader from New York, then this is an example of foreign trade. The Mr. X is our Indian people, Mumbai state. He has to sell the goods to another country. That means New York. So this is the example of external trade. The external trade can be further subdivided into three groups. Number one, import trade. Number two, entry port trade. Number three, first one is the import trade. When a trader in home country obtains or purchases goods from a trader located in another country, it is called import. For example, a trader from India purchases goods from a trader located in China. That means import trade. Import trade means is the Indian people buying or selling the goods to another country. That means import trade. Next is the entry port trade. When goods are imported from one country and then re-exported after doing some processing. Here, the entry port trade means we have to import some of the goods in another country and then we have to processing. It is called entry port trade. In brief, it can be also called as re-export of processed imported goods. For example, an Indian trader purchase some raw material or spare parts from a Japanese trader, then assemble it, that is convert into finished goods and then re-export to an American trader. This is the example of entry port trade. Next is the difference between trade and commerce. Here, the difference is based on meaning, scope, type of activity, frequency of transactions, employment opportunities, link, demand and supply side, capital requirements. Number one, the difference between basis on the meaning. First one, what do you mean by trade? Trade is the exchange of goods and services between two or more parties in consideration of money or money's worth. What do you mean by trade? Trade means exchange of goods and services between the two or three or four persons or more persons, considering the earning the money or money's worth. Next, here, commerce side, commerce means exchange of goods and services between the parties along with the activities such as insurance, transportation, warehousing, advertisement, etc. that completes that exchange in commerce side. The scope of based on scope. In trade side, scope is narrow, but commerce side scope is wide. Next, the difference is based on type of activity. The trade is the trade side, trade is the social activity. In commerce side, the commerce is the economic activity. Next is the based on frequency of transactions. In trade side, the frequency of transactions is isolated. Here, the commerce side, it is regular. Next is the employment opportunities. In trade side, employment, there is no employment opportunities, but commerce side, employment opportunities is there. Next is the based on link. In trade side, the link is between buyer and seller. Here, commerce side between producer and consumer. The next is the demand and supply side. Here, the demand and supply is represents both. Here, the commerce side represents only the demand side. Next is the based on capital requirement. Capital requirement in trade side, the capital requirement is very large or more. But in commerce side, the capital requirement is very less or small. These are the points comes under the difference between trade and commerce. Next is the what are the advantages of small business ownership? The advantages are number one, financial rewards. Number two, learning opportunities. Number three, lifestyle independence. Number four, personal satisfaction and growth. Number five, creative freedom and personal satisfaction. First one is the financial rewards. In spite of higher financial risk, running your own business gives you a chance to make more money than if you were employed by someone else. You benefit from your own hard work. Here, the financial rewards. Financial rewards means we are gaining some rewards in the business. Next is the learning opportunities. As a business owner, you will be involved in all aspects of your business. This situation creates numerous opportunities to gain a true understanding of the various business functions. Here, learning opportunities means the business owner learning so much of opportunities. Next is the lifestyle independence. The business owners enjoy lifestyle flexibility because they are creating their own schedule. This looks different for everyone, but it often includes the ability to attend kids' school and sports, functions, take vacations when desired, and adjust a work week to accommodate other personal needs. Next is the personal satisfaction and growth. Building a new business that becomes successful providers, business owners tremendous personal satisfaction. For some, the business becomes the pursuit of a lifelong dream. It allows individuals to grow beyond a particular skill set and to learn business and leadership skills and provide continued personal growth, pride, and fulfillment. Next is the creative freedom and personal satisfaction. As a business owner, you will be able to work in a field that you really enjoy. You will be able to put your skills and knowledge to use, and you will gain personal satisfaction from implementing your ideas, working directly with the customers and watching your business succeed. These are the points comes under advantages of business. Next is the disadvantages. Number one, financial risk. Number two, stress and health issues. Number three, time commitment. Number four, undesirable duties. First one is the financial risk. Losing money is one of the biggest risk of owning a business. There are startup costs for materials and business establishment, as well as monthly obligations. Costs are vary depending on the type and the size of the business. Many business owners take out a loan in starting a business, which means they are in debt from day one, while also trying to generate revenues. Here, the business owner is facing so much of financial risk in the business. Second one is the stress and health issues. In business, owners tend to experience high level of stress as well as the health issues. Not having a consistent paycheck means business owners always need to generate new sales and revenues. Next is the time commitment. Starting a business requires a time commitment is necessary. Next is the undesirable duties. Here, when you are startup, you will undoubtedly be responsible for either doing or overseeing just about everything that needs to be done. These are the points comes under the disadvantages of business. Thank you to all.